Pumping with FORTA FERRO. For both low volume and high volume fiber projects, there are general pointers that will assist the ready mix producers and pumping contractors in minimizing project site delays and problems. Concrete that includes synthetic fiber reinforcement has historically been very pumpable. However, following the simple precautions noted in this video will help ensure a successful project and a trouble-free job site. Avoid adding fibers as a first ingredient to central batch mixing systems or ready mix trucks. When fibers are added first, the odds for fiber mixing and balling problems increase dramatically. Add fibers with other ingredients or at the end of the batch cycle. When super plasticizers are used, it may be of an advantage to add the mix and the fibers prior to adding the admixture. This allows for sufficient mixing friction. When synthetic fibers are added to the mix, the visual slump will be reduced, though actual flowability and workability will not be affected to the same degree. Naturally, low slump mixes can be a challenge to pump, with or without fibers. Most synthetic fibers are hydrophobic, meaning they do not absorb water and do not take free water out of the mix. In fact, in many cases, pumped fiber concrete projects have reported more uniform and lower pump pressures in the fiber mixes. It is important not to pile up the FRC on the grate. The fiber reinforced mix moves quite well, but is sometimes difficult to restart once it has become static. The position and placement of the ready mix truck chute is probably the most important aspect when pumping fiber reinforced concrete. In normal situations, the chute is typically placed at the very bottom of the pump hopper and most often rests directly on the grate surface. With fibers acting as a cohesive agent in the mix, this placement typically results in an FRC buildup that is difficult to move through the grate. With FRC mixes, especially with long length and high fiber dosages, it is important to raise the chute much higher, to allow for natural falling velocity to help the concrete pass through the grate. It is also beneficial to place the chute near the back or uppermost part of the pump grate instead of near the bottom seam. This higher position will give the FRC more opportunity and space to work its way down through the grate openings. Though FRC often looks stiffer than plain concrete, it still moves quite well under vibration. A strong vibrator on the grate is important to minimize fiber buildup and maximize FRC flow. On some pump trucks, the grate vibrator is only activated when the pump is in actual operation, making it important not to pile up excess FRC on the grate during the non-pumping, non-vibration periods. The unique patent twisted bundle configuration of FORTA FERRO has proven to allow for a very uniform distribution of fibers and virtually eliminate the clumping and balling issues that are typical of many other types and brands of macro fiber. After several years of trial and error, FORTA Corporation introduced a pump grate solution that has eliminated those issues related to high volume fiber mixes. Instead of a thin slat grate design, pumping contractors have switched to a round bar grate configuration that minimizes fiber buildup and allows for high volume fiber mixes to flow easily into the hopper. Naturally, the temptations exist to simply lift or remove the grate from the pump hopper to avoid any potential flow issues with high volume fiber mixes. Most concrete pumps are fitted with a safety shutoff switch to prevent the pump from operating if the pump grate is not in the closed position. Many pump manufacturers offer a variety of pump grate configurations to accommodate various pumping issues and can be contacted regarding availability of a high fiber round bar grate to fit most models. An alternative that has been performed by several US pumping contractors is to simply recycle an old deteriorated slatted grate by removing the worn slats from the grate frame and replacing them with 1.5 to 2.5 inch round bar stock. Over the past 10 years, second-generation macrosynthetic fibers have become a more and more popular method to replace higher levels of conventional steel reinforcement, reduce cracking, and offer substantial cost savings to a wide variety of concrete project applications. Thank you for your consideration and use of FORTA products. We hope this video answers any questions you may have about pumping FORTA FERRO. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact your local FORTA representative or technical department at 1-800-245-0306.